I thought I'd take this opportunity to come to the beautiful beach. It's still quite early and an incredible day. Today we're going to do a 10-minute practice, just a little more than we've been doing. 5 minutes I think is fantastic, but 10 minutes we can explore a little bit more. It's a difficult time for everyone, and I'm really wanting to start you to create this habit of being present, this habit of noticing where you are, and then of course connecting with your strength and your sensitivity in the spirit of yoga. Okay, enough talk, and let's get on with this. I'm hoping that Poppy's not going to appear too much and that the sound of the waves will not be too distracting. Okay, the timer on. Okay, so we're going to work a little bit today on the transitions, so plank pose, dog pose and the lunge. Those are three things that are really good to have in your toolbox to practice on a regular basis. Okay, so I'm going to point, here. Okay, so when we have the hands on the mat, we have the fingers spread, always. And when the arms are straight, we have the shoulders directly over the wrists. Okay, to keep the arms straight, we have to push the hands down and actively continue the work of straightening the arms. Otherwise, sometimes the arms forget to stay straight. So there's an action of pushing the hands down, and there's an action of keeping the arms straight. Okay, so let's, before we go any further, find your breath. So we breathe in and out through the nose. We're here, shoulders over the wrists. Now lift the chest and lift the whole front body, because that's part of the support that we need, both for dog pose, for plank, and the transitions in between. Okay, so the front body is pulling up, the hands are pressing down, the arms are actively straightening. Okay, let's do one leg at a time. We'll take the right leg back and just check what happened to your symmetry there. See if you can line up the weight again, left and right hand, left and right side of the body. Take a breath. And then bring that right leg down, and let's take the left leg, and again consider what happened to your hips, what happened to the core, the lift of the front body. Check where the shoulders are and take a breath. Okay, bring that knee down. So anytime that we're doing plank in a sequence, you could bring your knees down to the floor if that works for you better. Okay, so let's step back with the right leg and the left leg now. So this is a sag. We need to push the hands down and lift the front body to support this. Take a deep breath there. And as you exhale, let's find our first dog pose with bent legs. Okay, with bent legs, we don't need to use so much of the hamstrings, but we need to continue the action in the hands and the action of straightening the arms. Okay, when we've got that sorted, we then need to find the action of supporting the front body, and then we add the lift of the sitting bones. As we lift the sitting bones, let's straighten the legs now. Truly straight legs. Check in with the hands again. Squeeze the arms straight. Pull the front body back. Now again, lift the sitting bones and begin to lower the heels. You'll need to push a little more with the arms to stop the shoulders popping forward. So keep the lift and lower the heels. Take a breath here. So generally, when you're moving towards plank, you would inhale, so lift the chest and rock forward. And then as you exhale, press all the way back to dog pose. And let's do that again. Inhale forward, the chest lifts. Exhale, back to dog pose. All the time checking that the hands are active and the arms are active. Inhale forward, exhale back. You would build up to this. You'd start with one, add another, and then depending on how long you had, you could do 5 or 10 of these, moving with your breath and noticing what you're doing. And it's a really great way of checking in with where you are. Okay, so let's bring the knees down to the floor sit back on your heels and take a breath. Okay. One is lifting, the shoulders are broadening. Yeah. When we work the arms straight, we want to keep the shoulders back where they belong and down, and we support them with the front body. I talk about that quite a lot. Okay. Let's add the lunge now to this little sequence that I think you'll find really useful in your day. Okay, so we're here on all fours, shoulders stacked over the wrists. We're going to step back to plank, breathe in here, lift the front body, and exhale back to dog pose. Okay, so the lunge, the elusive lunge. Bring the knees down. It takes some time to work out how to get that right foot forward. So let's start with stepping it forward. Okay, we want to have the ankle under the knee. We also want the hips to be turning forward slightly. So I'd like you to have your right foot forward and bring your left hand onto the left hip bone and turn that hip bone slightly, but without the knee moving. So we're turning the pelvis and keeping the legs steady. Okay. It's a little bit of a backbender lunge, but we want to minimize that by lifting the front of the pelvis and dropping the tailbone. Okay, what a beautiful view. Okay, we're going to bring the elbow to the knee and the hand to the wrist. So the first lunge, I like to do it with a straight back. The more your shoulders are back over your hips, the more of a backbending action it is. So let's stay in this leaning forward action, but the front body is still lifting. The whole of the foot presses down, and we're breathing in and breathing out. Okay, so let's change sides. So we're staying with the most simple way. We're going to push the foot down, use the front body, push back, and then we'll change sides. So left leg, again, lunge forward, make sure the knee stays over the ankle. We're going to bring the right fingertips to the right hip bone, and as you keep that knee still, you're going to turn that right hip forward just to bring the pelvis a little more neutral. Okay, let's bring the elbow to the knee and the hand to the wrist, and let's find this forward action again. Looking past the tip of the nose, dropping the tailbone, lifting the front of the pelvis, broadening across the shoulders. Take a breath. Okay, so then let's push back. Okay, so now we could take the knees apart, toes to touch, and fold forward. Or for those of you that would like to, let's lift the front body and come into dog pose. So you're either in pose of the child or in dog pose, taking a breath and checking in. Hands are pressing down, the arms are straight. Okay, so let's transition a different way to the lunge if you can. You're going to lift your heels, look forward. Now, ideally the hands stay flat, and that's a bit tricky, but we'll unpack that at some other time. We're going to step the right foot forward, bring the knee down, untuck the toes, and this time, it's our second lunge, we're going to push the hands on the knee, working the front body, so that we're adding a little more work in the spine. Yeah? You're going to bring the arms out to the sides, turn the palms up, and then bring the arms all the way up by the ears. The work is in the core. We're letting go, but strengthening, and that's the interesting balance. Noticing what comes into your mind and breathing in and breathing out. Okay, when we change, yeah, let's bring the hands down. You can step back to plank and back to dog pose, or you can just change sides. So we're on the left side now. Hips high, hands pressed down. Let's step that left foot forward. Untuck the toes. We'll start with the hands on the knee and we're pushing up, taking care of the lower back. We'll again bring the arms out to the sides, really extend from fingertip to fingertip. Breathe in, take the arms up. Pushing the hips forward, but supporting the front body. The navel pulls back, the ribs pull back. And as you exhale, bring the hands down. Let's again you can head back to pose of the child or step back to plank. Now that we've done those lunges, it would be good to take a little up face dog and exhale again to downward dog. The third of these lunges, we're going to step the right foot forward. As you do, we're going to keep the knee off the floor. So come onto your fingertips, and that may be enough. The front body's lifting, the chest is going forward, but otherwise, if you can, bring the arms out to the sides and up by the ears, breathing in and breathing out. Whew. Don't try and look around like that. And then, changing sides, we'll go straight back to dog pose. One breath. And then step the left foot forward. Again, coming onto your fingertips. Stabilizing, lift your front body. If you can, you're going to bring your arms out to the sides. And again, lifting up. Arms by the ears. Find your foundation. Again, if this is too much, you could have your knee down to the floor. There's quite an interesting balance here. Take a breath. And let's push back to dog pose. And there's our timer for 10 minutes. You're going to bring your knees down to the floor, toes to touch. Push your hips backwards. You're going to cross your arms and rest your forehead. Breathe in and breathe out. Next inhalation, let's lift and walk the hands back. Okay, so a strong 10-minute practice. A great way to find your balance and to connect with your strength in these interesting times. It would be good now to have a few minutes of Shavasana. That's the lying down pose, just to allow that to assimilate. But you have to do the part that works for you. Okay, come here, Poppy. Come on. Let's say goodbye.